There's a white powder that kills any cockroach and ant in your home forever. It costs less per application at any hardware store or garden shop. You spread it along the baseboard of the kitchen and behind the refrigerator. Every cockroach that walks over the powder dies within 48 hours. Every line of ants that you treat with that powder disappears within a week. The exterminators charge between $100 and $500 per visit to do the same thing. They never tell you that this powder is available at the hardware store for less than $2. They did not hide it because it does not work against the cockroaches and ants in your home. They hid it because it works too well and destroys the established business model. This is the story of the $1 powder that exterminators prefer you ignore. Welcome to Camping Prohibido. If these stories matter to you, subscribe and turn on the bell right now. Here we open the safes that the home industry locked decades ago. The powder is called Diatomaceous Earth. It is a white powder made from the fossilized remains of microscopic aquatic organisms. These organisms are called diatoms, and they have shells, with sharp edges at a microscopic level. When a cockroach or an ant walks over the powder, the sharp edges cut its exoskeleton. The cuts cause the insect to lose moisture quickly through its damaged shell. The cockroach or ant becomes completely dehydrated and dies within 48 hours. The powder does not poison the insect with any synthetic industrial chemical. It kills it physically by damaging its protective shell from the outside without the need for poison. This means that insects cannot develop resistance to diatomaceous earth. A cockroach cannot evolve a thicker shell fast enough to survive. Farmers have been using diatomaceous earth for decades in grain silos to kill insects. The powder kept grains free of pests for months without contaminating the stored food. The United States Environmental Protection Agency approved diatomaceous earth for household use. Food-grade diatomaceous earth is so safe that it is added to animal feed. It is completely non-toxic to humans, dogs, cats, and any mammal living in the home. The residential pest control industry has known about this powder for decades. Any fumigation technician knows the properties of diatomaceous earth against insects, but no exterminator mentions it when they come to your house for a cockroach infestation. Instead, they charge you between $100 and $500 and spray chemical insecticide in every corner. The chemical insecticide kills cockroaches for a few weeks, and then the effect disappears. The cockroaches return because the insecticide does not eliminate the eggs laid in cracks. You call the exterminator again, and the payment cycle begins again every 3 months. That cycle of infestation, exterminator, and bill is the business model of the entire industry. The residential pest control industry generates $22 billion a year. That money depends on cockroaches and ants returning to your kitchen in a predictable way. A powder that permanently eliminates insects from a home completely destroys that model. A home that spreads diatomaceous earth along the baseboards never calls the exterminator again. You cannot patent diatomaceous earth because it exists naturally. You cannot charge $500 per visit when a $2 powder does the same thing. But you can make sure that no advertisement and no exterminator ever mentions it. That is exactly what has been happening for decades, while the industry continued growing. Before continuing, I gathered everything in the complete Camping Prohibido package. The exact method of application in kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom to eliminate cockroaches and ants, the strategic points in the home where to apply the powder, for maximum permanent effectiveness, the most common mistakes that make the method fail, and how to completely avoid them at home. How to apply the powder in cabinet hinges behind the refrigerator and under the sink, where to buy food, grade diatomaceous earth, and what to look for on the label. More than 10 guides in one place, straight to the point without unnecessary filler. The link is in the video description. Stay with me. The numbers that follow are impossible to ignore. Now the numbers are completely impossible to ignore from the very beginning. An exterminator visit for cockroaches in the United States costs between $100 and $500. In Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina, the equivalent cost exceeds $80 per visit. Most homes with cockroaches call the exterminator between 2 and 4 times a year. That is between $200 and $2,000 per year, just on cockroach visits. A bag of food-grade diatomaceous earth costs between and dollars. That bag treats all the baseboards of a 3-bedroom house multiple times. The cost per application in a typical home is less than $1 in total. The University of Kentucky published a study in 2008 on diatomaceous earth. The study applied diatomaceous earth along the baseboards of apartments with cockroach infestations. The cockroach population in the treated apartments dropped by 83%. After 4 weeks, the apartments showed 91% fewer cockroaches, 83% fewer cockroaches in 2 weeks, with a powder of just a small cost. The extermination industry knew these results and continued sending technicians to charge money. That is not negligence. It is a business model built on hiding what they know. If you made it this far, you already know more about pest control than almost everyone. Subscribe and share this with someone who just paid an exterminator this month. The link to the complete package is in the description. Stay, the best part is coming right now. Why did no exterminator mention Diatomaceous Earth during their visit? Why does no pest control company include this powder in any service package? The residential pest control industry generates $22 billion a year. The model works on a single premise: pests return and you pay again. For that model to work, the treatment can never eliminate the problem permanently. Chemical insecticide kills adult insects, but it does not eliminate the eggs in the cracks. Cockroaches hatch from those eggs 3 weeks later, and the infestation starts again. Diatomaceous earth on the baseboards kills every cockroach that walks over the powder. Even newly hatched cockroaches die when they cross the powder. You cannot charge $500 when a $2 powder eliminates the entire cycle. That is why no exterminator has ever handed you a bag of diatomaceous earth at the end of their visit. Now I will show you how to apply diatomaceous earth in your home this weekend. Buy a bag of food-grade diatomaceous earth at a hardware store or garden shop. Make sure the label says food grade and not pool grade or filter grade. Pool grade diatomaceous earth has been heat treated and does not effectively kill insects. You will also need a small brush or a plastic bottle with holes in the cap for application. First step, identify all the places where you have seen cockroaches or ants in your home. The most common places are the kitchen baseboards under the sink and behind the refrigerator. Also check the cabinet hinges and the corners of the bathroom. Second step, apply a thin layer of diatomaceous earth along each baseboard. Use the brush to push the powder into the gap between the baseboard and the floor. The layer should be so thin that it is almost invisible on the kitchen floor. A thick, visible layer makes cockroaches detect it and avoid it. A thin layer forces cockroaches to walk over the powder without detecting it. Third step, apply diatomaceous earth behind the refrigerator by pulling it away from the wall. Spread a thin line of powder on the floor, where the refrigerator normally sits. Push the refrigerator back and leave the powder untouched on the floor behind it. Fourth step, apply a small amount of powder inside each cabinet hinge. Cockroaches use cabinet hinges as entry points to the internal shelves at night. A bit of powder in each hinge kills every cockroach that enters through that point. Fifth step, reapply the powder in any area that gets wet or is regularly cleaned with water. Wet diatomaceous earth loses its sharp edges and stops killing insects. In dry areas, a single application lasts for months without needing to reapply the powder. A homeowner in Mexico City had cockroaches in the kitchen for 3 consecutive years. She had called the exterminator 3 times the previous year without solving the problem. She spread diatomaceous earth along all the baseboards and behind every appliance. In 2 weeks, she found dead cockroaches along the baseboards, but none alive. After 1 month, she had not seen a single live cockroach anywhere in the home. The total cost of the powder to treat her kitchen was less than $2 compared to $900 paid to the exterminator during the previous year. I need to be honest about something important before you apply this in your home. Diatomaceous earth works best in dry environments such as kitchens and bedrooms. It loses effectiveness when it gets wet and needs to be reapplied after cleaning floors with water. It also acts slower than chemical insecticides, taking between 2 days and 2 weeks. For very severe infestations, combine the powder with sticky monitoring traps. But for continuous prevention, a small amount of powder on the baseboards keeps insects out. This knowledge is not hidden in any secret file or laboratory. The Environmental Protection Agency has published it on its website for many years. It was just waiting for someone to put it in front of your eyes with the correct instructions. If this video saves you an exterminator visit, subscribe and share it right now. Every time it is shared, someone discovers that they can eliminate pests with a small amount of powder. Every baseboard treated with diatomaceous earth is an exterminator bill that never arrives. This is not a cleaning trick. It is economic resistance with white powder.